Joy, in my opinion, was and this is, I guess, a pun in a sense, but Joy was really a joyless film. Like, man, was it awful. I mean, I don't want to throw words like crap and like shit around, but it this movie's pacing was one of the worst that I have seen in like a long time, very long time. And the not only was the pacing awful, but the editing was bad. I mean, the acting was atrocious. Everything about it was just, there was nothing that was really great about it other than one scene, and that was the very first scene that Bradley Cooper is kind of in, with the sales scene. It was a great scene, but the rest of it was really bad, you guys. And the acting from Jennifer Lawrence and them wasn't really anything new. It was kind of man, it just left a bad taste in my, I guess, bad taste in my thoughts. I don't know what that even means. But yeah, we all came out of the film and it wasn't just me. Everybody felt like the movie's pacing was awful. Everybody felt like the emotions that were trying to be portrayed was just bad. I mean, this is a really big misfire in my opinion for David O. Russell, because I actually really liked his last two films, Silver Linings Playbook and American Hustle, which starred pretty much the same cast, and they gave great performances in those films, especially Silver Linings Playbook. I mean, Jennifer Lawrence and Bradley Cooper both really knocked it out of the park in Silver Linings Playbook. I feel like that's a really in-depth film on being bipolar, and it really went into that. And I really don't know what this film was trying to say, and that says a lot, because I felt like I knew what it was trying to say going into it, with the trailers and stuff. And for me to go in and then have that whole entire like thought of what the movie was supposed to be ruined within like the first 10 or 15 minutes. Like, the film really, like, her family is just awful to her. I mean, they're trying to take advantage of her every single turn, telling her she can't do it, telling her that she won't amount to anything, and then she does, and then she just lets them stick around. She just lets them kind of leech off of her, and it's, I don't know, like that. Obviously, you can love your family and stuff, but they weren't building her positively at all. And I just don't understand why, even if it is a true story, which I understand it is a true story, so you have to tell it that way, why you would put that in the movie. Like, if you're going to put the negativity in the movie, show her acknowledging the negativity, not ignoring it. Like, that was the whole film. She just ignored it, and it just pissed me off. Like, every single moment where her family was going, "You can't do it. Like, don't you realize you should just file for bankruptcy, and that this is a failure, and this and this and that." And she's like, "Yeah, you're right." And then she just signs it and does whatever. And I'm like, okay, well, even if obviously that really happened, right? But then that moment happens, she regrows from it, and comes back even stronger, and then all those same people that said, "You couldn't do it, you should file for bankruptcy, this is a failure," she lets them continue to be in her life and continue to call her those things. They actually end up suing her, and it just gets continually worse. And like I said, I understand, you have to, you don't, I feel like, she doesn't just tolerate her family, and I understand her loving her family and supporting them, but man, I just don't know. As far as film goes, if you're telling somebody's story, you really have to pace that out. If you're going to, and what really upsets me, and I'm sorry I'm rambling here, but what really upsets me is that David O. Russell is such a great director. Like, he should know better. That's what really makes me sad, is that he should know better. And American Hustle was kind of a long movie and had pacing problems at times, but the performances and the writing was so great, and the dialogue was so great, and you felt the era and stuff, and in this film you felt absolutely none of that. I mean, this film jumps from Joy as a little girl around the age of like 8 or 9, all the way up to her being, I don't know, I would say in her 40s. And this is all played by Jennifer Lawrence. They don't cast any new actress. They just keep aging her up with makeup and stuff, which, by the way, the production value of this movie is not very great. I mean, I don't know if they had a small budget on this film, so I don't want to really say that they did awful in that front. But I feel like, you know, David O. Russell's had 2 films that have been nominated in a row for the Academy Awards. I don't know whether somebody read the script or the story for this and went, I don't think we should really fund this movie. Like, I don't really understand why we would make this movie. And the fact that, I don't know, the fact that Jennifer Lawrence and Bradley Cooper and Robert De Niro kind of blindly follow David O. Russell into kind of whatever he's doing, I think that that's a mistake on their part. But, I mean, even though all of that happened, I don't want to completely bash the movie, even though I would give it like a 5. Like, this movie was awful, in my opinion. I would never rewatch it. But there was one scene in the film that I really, really enjoyed, and I would rewatch that scene. And honestly, the one thing that I actually really wish was that the movie was more on Bradley Cooper's character, the guy that created or built QVC up from the ground and made this channel what it is. His 10 minutes that he was in the film, or whatever it may be, with the whole sales scene when she first gets to QVC was amazing. You know, it was one of those scenes where you get to see the inner workings. You know, whenever a film goes behind the scenes of an industry, and you go, wow, like, I didn't realize how much work and effort went into doing something like that. So you see a QVC ad, and it's like the whole entire set spins around, and they've got all these different people selling the products and everything like that. And that is a great, great scene. But that is the only scene in the entire movie. And I don't even know how long this film was. I didn't check before I got on here. But it felt long. And obviously that's a pacing issue. It was off pacing emotionally. It was off pace. It was, like I just brought up, it was off pace with the length. The length of the film felt long because they were cutting scenes together. They would go from a scene where it was like, Robert De Niro saying something that might be funny, which nobody laughed. I didn't laugh. And then it would cut right from that scene to a scene where they were telling her she couldn't do it, and it was supposed to be an emotional scene, and she starts crying. And you're like, what is happening? Thank you. 2 hours and 15 minutes. Man, this movie felt way longer than that. And I went and watched The Hateful Eight a couple days ago, and that's a 3-hour movie, you guys. And I didn't feel the length of that much. But this movie felt way longer than 2 hours and 15 minutes. And I wanted to keep these reviews short, but I also want you guys to know, and why I preface this review with, is that I'm just saying this with passion, you know. I know David O. Russell is an incredible filmmaker. I've seen, you know, Three Kings, I Heart Huckabees, and obviously Silver Linings Playbook and American Hustle. Those are all great films in my opinion. I know he can do better than this. And what is kind of sad about it is that this movie isn't just getting lambasted by me, it's getting lambasted by pretty much everybody. And I really hope he goes from this and really thinks into as far as some of the pacing issues with his films, because man, it's really, really starting to show. It was starting to show a decent amount in American Hustle, but it showed a lot in this film. So I'm sorry for such a negative review, guys. I don't want to bring negativity to your night, but I just wanted to let you guys know what I think. I definitely would not go see this film. I wouldn't even rent it, to be honest with you. What I would do is look up the QVC scene once this film is out. Look up the QVC scene on YouTube and watch that scene. It's like 4 minutes, and that is a great scene. That scene, I felt like that scene happened like like an hour into the movie, and I was like, wow, this movie might actually pick up and save itself here. But that was the only scene in the film. So, like I said, sorry for such a negative review, you guys. Obviously, I'll have a new film for you guys tomorrow. What I'm doing is basically reviewing 365 films a year. So that's what I'm doing. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for sharing this out. And have a great night. Thank you.